Hey, it's Dr. Kate Walker. Welcome to my interview with Melanie O'Reilly Rogers. And she is the author, creator of Mostly Under Control. And so I know her because she was part of my mastermind group. And so I know how hard she works, and I know that she is a savvy business owner. But I asked her to talk to us today because she is also an expert on recharging. And Melanie, I know you hate the word self-care, so I'm not even going to use that. Like we'll make that a drinking game. Like if I say it, somebody's got to do a shot of vodka.
Okay.
So recharging. So first of all, tell us about you and what is Mostly Under Control.
Thank you so much for having me, Kate. I'm so excited to talk with you about this. As Kate said, my name is Melanie. I blog and Instagram over at Mostly Under Control. I live in the suburbs of Chicago with my husband and my 4 kids. My kids are 9. I'm sorry. They all have birthdays in September. My kids are 10, 7, 4, and 4. That's how old they will all be in a month and a half. I have been doing this. I started my blog when I was pregnant with my daughter, who is almost 7. So I've been doing this about 7 years. And just kind of over the last couple of years, since I had my twins, I sort of shifted my goal into supporting overworked, drained, stressed out mothers and kind of helping them drop the guilt they have about making themselves a priority.
I love that so much. So your Instagram, because that's how I found you. I mean, your reels are hilarious and they're so real. Like it's so relatable. I mean, my kids have launched, but there was a time I had 3 kids at home. I'm running a business and I'm running them to practices and all the things and going crazy. So tell us kind of how you got your Instagram inspiration and what does that look like?
So I started my Instagram years ago when I started my blog, and I was focusing on activities at home because I have an early childhood background. I was focusing on meals. I was focusing on literally all the things. And a couple years of that was like completely burning me out. I knew that there was no way I could keep up with that. Then I got pregnant with my twins, and the whole thing took a back burner. And when I kind of came back, it was like, I don't have time for the activities at home. I don't have time to be filming and recording photos of the meals that I'm making. And they were nothing groundbreaking, the meals. And I just kind of shifted to like, now is the time for me to just be raw and real, like you said, because I did not have the time or energy to keep up with this facade that like my children were eating dinner every night and I was doing sensory bins with them every day at 12:30. It just wasn't feasible for my large family with a full-time working husband. So I kind of shifted over a little bit to the real. Like, you will not see me push toys out of the way to take a photo of something on my carpet. You will not see me move things around when you will not see me move things around if it's in the background of a reel that I'm recording.
You said if you don't move stuff out of the way.
Right. So you won't see me clearing out my dishes in my sink just so that I can film something. Everything is real. Everything is raw. I don't have the energy for anything else.
And how many followers do you have on Instagram?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I think I'm just under 1,800. I had to stop obsessing over the number over the last year or so, but I think I'm just under 1,800.
Well, and so because counselors who want to go into private practice or they're in private practice, they're very curious about adding more, right? And so you just made an excellent point that when you add more, it can become more overwhelming. And so 1,800 followers, that's a lot. And you've somehow been able to scale that to, you're not going to go out of your way to make everything look perfect anymore. You're going to show the real and the raw, and that's going to be the real you and how you market, and it works. Talk to me about your Etsy shop, because you did decide to sell some things.
Yeah, so I do have an Etsy shop. My Etsy shop currently it's mostly digital items, but it's mostly meal planner layouts that you can print out. It is weekly planner layouts that you can print out. I have monthlies. I have job charts for the kids. I have screen time charts for the kids. I have a lot. If you think of it and you need it in your house, I probably have it in my Etsy shop for $1.99. I have bundles. I have lots of stuff. I do have some physical items, like, because I love my planner. And so I have like planner notebooks, and I have planner clips and pen holders and things like that too. And then I have a couple of versions of my meal planner in a notebook already printed out, ready to go.
For $1.99, I will be posting the link to Melanie's Etsy shop, because that's what counselors do too, right? So we've got a lot of counselors who, like, let's say they work with, kids and parents. And that I remember you saying you just finished your book, that, meal planning, like, that is so huge. It doesn't have to be a big fancy meal, but having a meal planner was so vital for you. So I can imagine for a counselor helping a family who is overwhelmed, or they've got a kid. I know I'm kind of going off track here, but you have also had kids with RSV. And so you've had to really make things work the best you can with sick kiddos too, right?
Yeah, we were in the hospital for 10 days with one of them. Another one was 5 days, and then the other one was 2 days. So the 2 days seemed, just easy as pie. But yeah, when I was gone, I was in the hospital with her for the 10 days. And so my son was at my mom's, and then he was at home, and then it was back and forth. And knowing that things were planned and things were ready to go was super helpful for us.
So you're kind of answering this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why is self-care? I know I just drink. Recharging important as a business owner? And I know we're talking to a lot of moms out here. Even if you're that and you're watching this and you're in charge of children, why is self-care important?
Recharging as business owners when you have small kids at home is so important. Mostly, I think, because you are always on from the moment your feet hit the ground until the moment you lay your head on the pillow, and 45 minutes later you fall asleep. You are on. I mean, you're even on when you're sleeping if you've got kids that are still waking up at night. So
right,
taking time for yourself and recharging that battery for you, you have to forget that you have 24 hours in a day, because you don't have 24 hours in a day. When it comes to being a parent and running a business, you have 22 hours in the day or whatever, because you need to take that hour or two, whatever works for you, for yourself. You have to put yourself as a priority. And I know I have friends that work outside of the home, and they have the air quote luxury of having a commute. And so that's their time, is that 20 minutes when they're driving. They listen to a podcast and an audiobook, do whatever they need to do when they're in the car. But if you're working at home and you have a sitter, like I do right now, my kids are currently downstairs with the sitter, my commute is non-existent. I don't have that. So it's really important, again, if you're working from home and your children are at home with the sitter and nanny, or if they're at home with nobody and they're at home with you, you need to take that hour or two, whatever works for you, for yourself first, and get those basic needs met before tending to everyone else.
I love that, because you're saying something that I try to preach as well. It's not a luxury to have a babysitter. It's not a luxury to have like meal service. It's not a luxury those are things that make your life work, because if you're burned out, nothing works, right? Yep. I know we've all been there.
Yeah, I think that society, which could be a whole nother topic, has made quote unquote self-care. You don't have to drink, because I said it. It's made it seem like that is a luxury, and that really is not a luxury. It is necessary to maintain yourself every day.
Okay, so just for a minute, talk to the business owner parents. I'm going to say parents, not just moms, who might be watching or listening to this. What would you, especially if they've got kids, I'll just say under 18, right? Adult kids is a whole nother bag of worms. We'll talk about that later. But what would you tell the mom with kids under 18 who is trying to run a business? Like, what are just 2 or 3 things?
I would say find your time during the day. I hate the phrase carve out time, but find that time during the day where you can take that 30 minutes to an hour to yourself. It does exist, I promise. For me, I cannot function after my children go to bed. I want to sit in front of a stupid TV show and eat ice cream. That's all I want to do. That's how I unwind. So my time is not at night. I can't get work done. I can't do dishes. I can't do any of that crap at the end of the night. My time is in the morning. I was just talking about this with some of my membership moms a couple nights ago on our monthly call that, they were like, well, I just can't get up in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I'm not either. When I'm waking up at 4:45, when my husband's getting out of the shower, I'm not coherent. I am walking to the bathroom with my eyes closed. I am picking out clothes that I don't know what they look like until 9 a.m. when I finally get to look at myself in the mirror. But I know that if I don't do this, my whole day is going to be shot. So I have time from about 5 to 6 in the morning. My little ones start waking up around 6:15. I have from 5 to 6 in the mornings to do stuff for me. That's not chore time for me. There are plenty of mornings where I'm reading a book. I just posted on Instagram this morning where I'm reading a book and there's a mess of Lego blocks on the floor in front of me, because recharging yourself is not a reward. So I spend
Thank you. Yes.
you do.
Yes. That needs to be like a button or a sticker.
Yeah, it's not. I'll put that sticker in my shop. I have stickers in my shop too. Recharging your battery is not a reward. When your cell phone battery is dead, you recharge it because it's low. That's the only reason why you do it. You don't do it because your phone did what you wanted it to today. That's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So, as a human, you should treat yourself with the same respect as a cell phone. It sounds so crazy.
Perfect.
But I'm sorry. I know you told me what is one.
No,
or two
that's okay. So number one is you said carve out time, but
Yeah,
I'm
so
hearing you say like reclaim, like just
Yes.
stake it out. Like
Yep.
that is your time. Don't do chores, but
Nope.
just make that your time. Okay, good. Give me.
I have a friend who after dinner, after the dishes, she retreats off to her room every night for 20 minutes. Her spouse is home. He takes wrangle of the children, and for 20 minutes, she just shuts her brain off and sits in her bed and scrolls through her phone for 20 minutes. That's perfect.
I love it. I love it.
Number
So go ahead, because there's one I'm thinking of too, because you talk about this a lot, and you and I had a conversation about it a little bit. But go ahead. What's your number?
I'm going to say my second thing is along with prioritizing yourself, I would prioritize your tasks. So I think there are a lot of things in your business and a lot of things in your home that don't actually need to be done. And let me get a little bit clearer.
I just got excited. Okay? Yes. I want to hear. Yes.
Let's say, so I was trying to do all the social media. And I was just not getting the hang of TikTok. And I finally was like, you know what? I don't need to do this. I don't need to stress out over TikTok. I have plenty of an audience on Instagram. My target audience is on Instagram and TikTok. A lot of it carries over into the same group. So TikTok was stressing me out. So I gave it up. Now I just use it for personal use and scroll through the stupid videos, but I don't make any content on it anymore. So for me, that was prioritizing and figuring out a task that did not need to be done. So I easily took it off of my to-do list. My life got a lot easier. At home, I don't know how people do laundry every single day. I can't do it. I have to do laundry once a week. The way that my brain works, the way that my motivation works, that I was doing it every single day because I just thought that's what I was supposed to be doing, but it wasn't working for me. So I readjusted it and now I do it once a week, and it has become so much more manageable. And I'm doing laundry for 6 people. It has become so much more manageable now that I kind of reassessed and took stock in what I was and wasn't doing and what was actually important to me and my family.
Well, when you said that, what came to mind, that's how my mom taught me to do laundry. Mm-hmm. Like, I just thought that's what you did. You just did laundry every day. And it wasn't until I became a business owner and I was like, oh, I can't keep up with this, and like you said, you make it work in the way that works for you in your life and your business and your family.
Yep.
Love it. All right. Number 3.
Okay. So we talked about prioritizing your tasks. We talked about making that time for yourself. I would say that my number three would probably have to be use your resources and don't be afraid to. There are a lot of things that I was able to quote unquote get out of my husband just by asking. Hey, is it possible for you to, I go to therapy, I'm down to once a month now, but when I was every other week, I mean, I just flat out asked him, is there a day that works best for you to be home an hour early every other week? And he was like, yep, I can do that. He told me the day, he told me the time. It happened to work with my therapist. Perfect. It was something that we didn't have to worry about. And it doesn't have to just be your spouse. And I know that there are people out there that do not have partners. I get that. I know that that's a reality. I was raised by a single mom. But there are people that are willing to help you. There are neighbors. I'm a firm believer that if you have a problem that you can throw money at it. I know that's not possible for everyone. But if you've got a neighbor, if you've got a high school kid that can come grab your kids from the bus stop one day a week so that you can get your, whatever it is that you need to do, if you want to go for a walk by yourself or whatever, really, really, really start to think about pulling your resources. And when someone asks you for help, do not say no, because there is always something that you can give up to other people. There is always something you can give up to other people.
And that's what I was thinking of, those tough conversations. And I know some people watching or listening might be thinking, oh, that's lucky. I can't talk to my partner that way. My partner would never. And you and I, we talked about that. And I know in your book, you talk about ways to have those conversations. But I like what you're saying about you have lots of resources. You have neighbors, you have other parents, you have maybe your spiritual group or whatever. I mean, you've got other people who would be willing. And then the junior high school set who would love to come over during the witching hour and watch TV with your kids, even, just for $10 or something like that. Yep. So getting creative, having those conversations, getting humble, asking, not seeing it as a loss. I mean, I think that's what I love the most about your message is you're not saying like, okay, you can't do it. Fine, break down and spend money. You're like, okay, let's get your toolkit together. You want to be a success? Get this, get this, get this. And now let's go forward and do it and tweak it and adjust as you go. At least that's what I'm getting from your message. I don't know what you're trying to put out there, but that's what I'm hearing.
Yes, that is exactly the message that I'm trying to put out there. I'm a realist.
Yep.
Again, I have 4 children with a full-time working husband. I get it. I know that, your husband coming home at noon once a week is just not doable for a lot of people. I get that. So that's when we kind of shift our mindset a little bit and figure out where else you can pull resources from. You've got a friend that also needs a break or needs to go to therapy once a week. You bring your kids to that person's house at a certain time once a week, and then you reciprocate and you offer to give them the same break. So if you really, really, really think about it, there are a lot of resources out there for you, and they don't have to cost money.
I love that. And I'm going to post links when I put this out. Is there anything you want to make sure you plug or you mention? You have anything coming up that you want to talk about? This is, what are we on? July 2022. So if you're watching, well, everybody's going to see it on a replay because we're not live. But what are some things you want to plug for July 2022?
So currently, I just finished a workbook, the one that Kate has been mentioning. This workbook that I have put together is called the Drained, Overworked Mom's Guide to Keeping Things Mostly Under Control. What it does is it answers the question that we've been talking about, is how do I get all this shit off of my to-do list to make that time for myself? And then when I'm there, what the hell do I do? So this book is going to walk you through how to divide up those tasks, which a handful of those tasks you are actually going to throw in the trash because you're going to realize that you don't need to do them, because there's worksheets that go with this also. And there's a worksheet that's going to help you walk through a specific task that with which you're struggling. And, is it helping you? It's going to walk you through if you need to toss it or if you need to give it to someone else, or if it's something that you truly need to be doing on your own. And then there's going to be other worksheets, because I know a huge excuse in the mom community right now is, my spouse would never be able to handle that, or my spouse doesn't even know the doctor's phone number, or, any sort of excuse here, basically saying that your spouse is incompetent. I promise your spouse is not incompetent. Sometimes it may just take some talking to and putting systems into place. But in the end, you're going to find out that it's going to be worth the work in the end. I just had this conversation with a mom from my membership. She's like, all of the work that needs to go into me going away for a weekend sounds exhausting and doesn't seem worth it. I said, you know what? And the first time you do it, it may not seem worth it. But once you put those things in place, you get back and you say, hey, partner, listen, how was this for you? How can we change it next time? Because there's going to be a next time. So in the end, it's all going to be worth. I mean, my husband and I at this point are at the point where I can literally just throw my hands in the air and say, I am stepping out for 15 minutes. I'll be right back. And he's like, okay. And that's it. I don't have to set him up at all, because we're a partnership and we're doing this together. So it will feel like it's totally not possible, but in the end, it is, and it is absolutely going to be worth all the setup that you're going to do to get there.
I'm going to ask you to tell a story, and I know we're running out of time here, but it was just for me as a family therapist and a couple counselor, this showed so much empathy you and your husband have for one another. You went away for a weekend, and when you came back, that's what I want you to just talk about, what your husband had done with the kids. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So for my birthday, he had booked a night at a hotel. And I went to the hotel, and, it was like check-in was at 4, checkout was at 11. So it wasn't even 24 hours, but it was glorious. I got to get work done. I got to read, I got to watch movies, whatever. So on my way home, I used that. It was like a 10-minute drive. The hotel was not far. I used that 10 minutes to kind of prep myself for what I was going to be walking into. And when I got home, we had plans to go to my sister-in-law's house to celebrate my niece's confirmation. And we didn't have to leave for like another 20 minutes. And I got home, and literally all the children and my husband were in the car. 2 of them were crying, I think. One of them was wearing clothes that were too small for them. And they were waiting for me in the car when I got home. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, we got to get out of this house. And I'm like, okay. So I ran inside, dropped my bag, changed my clothes really quick, went to the bathroom and took a deep breath and hopped into the car and just thought, you know what? I just had a great recharge. The kids are fed, the kids are alive, we're here. Let's move on with our weekend until next time I can do something like this,
I
And
love that story so much.
our 4 kids are a lot. And so I knew I wasn't going to come home to a spotless house and children bathed and ready to go for the day. Because honestly, my husband doesn't even come home to that on a regular day sometimes. So it's reality. I had to let go of control, let him do his thing for a day so that I could do my thing for a day.
I love that. I love that. And you guys just, where it's at, where the other is emotionally, and it's a wonderful part. And I'm sure it's not perfect. I'm not saying
not
that,
at all.
but I love that because in my sample, I always say my sample size is so skewed, right? I see folks who would have come out to the car and been, oh my gosh, what are you doing? I can't believe the kids aren't dressed right. I can't believe, but no, you were like, score, they're ready to go. I have time to go to the bathroom. Excellent. Let's go do our thing. I mean, looking for the win is such a wonderful way to look at all of this. So thank you for that.
Of course.
Anything else you want to leave us with before we go?
I think that's it. I think we really just, as a society, and I think that it can start with therapists and with moms, need to really start telling people that they need to prioritize themselves, and it is not always a bad thing.
It is always a wonderful thing. Recharge, not self-care.
Yes.
Recharge. All right. So you will send me the links. I will post those links here, and you guys will be able to see that. Thank you again, Melanie. So everybody go check out Melanie's Mostly Under Control Instagram. It's hilarious. She does a very real job showing very real things. And if you see kids and parents check out our Etsy store. I think some of these things would be amazing for your families who are struggling with littles, or that's causing some issues if there are sick kids in the family or kids with special needs and or anything like that, and families are coming to you looking for resources. Pointing them to Melanie's Etsy store might be just the ticket. So thank you again. This is Kate Walker, and I will see you guys in